Hey, this is Taylor with Believe in the Run. I wanted to let you know that the podcasts are getting their own channel. As we continue to grow, please search and follow BITR Networks on YouTube and Instagram to find all of the podcast related content. If you're looking for the shoe and gear reviews, you can find those on BelieveInTheRun.com or search Believe in the Run on YouTube and Instagram. Thank you for your support. Here's the show.
Give a good stretch, got my laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side. If you want to talk run, it's the place to be. Yeah, it's the drop, D-R-O-P. Believe in the run.
Hey, this is Taylor with Believe in the Run.
And Reese with Believe in the Run.
And Alex with Believe in the Run.
And you have stumbled upon the Dirt Division segment of the Drop podcast, which is inevitably about trail running and a lot of other stuff. Today's topic, we're just going to dive right in, is going to be controversial. And Reese, you can explain why.
Okay. Yeah, we have to preface this because we're only presenting one side of the story on this podcast episode because it's just so big of a topic. But it came about because Alex and I were just checking in over text about how things were going in our running world for races. Wasn't going great for either of us. And it was just like this litany of complaints and negativity. And I think at one point, one of us was like, do we like this? We were just complaining. It was like, I'm hurt. I'm sick. I'm X, Y, and Z. It was just constant. And I think we just got to this point where I was like, or one of us was just saying, we should do a podcast on the reasons not to run an ultra and then follow it up with reasons to run an ultra, because obviously this is like a seesaw where sometimes it's super fun and you love it and that's all you can think about, and then it changes. And so I think this podcast
Sometimes
only
very quickly.
within moments. So this particular episode, we are only focusing on reasons not to. We understand many of these reasons are actually why we do it, or there is a flip side. But we are not playing devil's advocate here. We're doing my favorite thing, which is complaining in jest, which is a hobby of mine.
Purposefully the antagonist.
So this might be harder for you.
Well, I mean, yeah, in some ways. But to kind of qualify, like this is how my brain works when it comes to this kind of stuff. Of like, I think one, we're all naturally empathetic, but I'm on the softer end of empathy probably for most of us. So I'm often thinking about like even shoe reviews. We had a guy comment on, and he listens every week, which I appreciate, and he comments often. But he also said that he thinks I'm too soft on some reviews, and I understand where he's coming from. However, this is my one defense point of it, and I think this goes into our defense or offense of ultra too. Of like, one, there's so many good options out there. And we've talked about this for like the last few years. Like legitimately, we were in 80 trail shoes last year, and there's like 2 of them that I can think of that are like, we're just not good. And it was hard to find a good application for it in terms of running. But there's a lot of shoes that you can. And so I come at it from the perspective of, they might market it for something, and it might be good for that, but it also might be good for, this particular runner or someone who likes this, this, and this. Like the Merrell Agility Peak 6. Reese, you didn't particularly love it, but there's people who, especially like if you love like the classic kind of La Sportiva feel, kind of firm, protective, aggressive, that might be a shoe that you're really into these days. So that's, yeah. However, we are not going to play that game today, and I am committed to it. And
Taylor's not going to defend ultra running after everything we say.
No.
Do not defend it. Do not.
And you're
no
catching
one can
me
pick up for it.
And you're catching me off of, Leadville is still fresh in my mind, and I wasn't really bought in then either of like, I'm very much on this side of the seesaw currently. Of course,
Okay.
tongue in cheek with all this. So
We'll see.
without
And-
further ado.
Yeah. And I think the best way to do this is we'll go one by one. And if it's on our card, our bingo card of why not to do an ultra, I think we say it. Some I think need more explanations and maybe anecdotes. And then some I think we can just go through. Like some of mine are just like, I don't need to explain why this is bad. why
This
why
is a
ultras are
roast of
awful.
ultra running.
Yeah.
The ultra running.
Okay. Alex, you first.
Okay. I have a list that's scrollable. So first I'm starting with like physical costs and physical harm to my body.
Oh my gosh.
So just like
Yes.
if you run and train long enough, you will get injured. It's like inevitable. You're always kind of towing that line, walking that line between like pushing too hard and just kind of like being at your peak. And I feel like every morning I wake up, I kind of do like this assessment of my body as I walk to the bathroom to brush my teeth right away.
Yep. I already
I'm
did.
like
I already did.
at 4:30.
No. Like right before this.
So I'm always like, my Achilles is super tight. My ankles are sore. I'm like, I think I might have a stress fracture. This is all these things I say out loud, of course, to Jared. I'm like, I think I have I think I have a stress fracture. My Achilles is like probably ruptured yesterday. My calves are super tight. My lower back hurts. And it's just like aging. And I know this is annoying because I'm like, objectively not like old.
You're old.
Just like when like people who are 20 complain to me about their age, but I'm like, objectively, like getting older, like recovery is harder. It takes longer, and like that process alone. So I feel like it kind of puts you in this like facing aging in a very direct way where it's like, wow, I'm not recovering from that run I did or that workout I did last week. I still feel it. And I feel like just kind of that baseline, never feeling amazing. And then just kind of dipping over into the injury, crossing the injury line. And then obviously with that becomes like the physical isolation or the emotional isolation and just kind of like the depression and the fallout of like, who am I if I get injured and I can't run for 3 to 4 months? And so that's the main thing for me, or that's where I'll start with just physical pain and injury.
I would cross that off on my bingo list too. I put in the phrase of you'll never not be tired. So you're just running to be, and you're just going to be more tired. Like you're tired and your goal is to be more tired once you get to that ultra. And it's, you just always are. And to your point of like getting out of bed of like, I'm like, dang, I'm starting from, square one again with this whole foot thing. Cause it's tight. And, I have to like walk carefully out of my bedroom just because like my sternum pops, my ankles are like creaking like audibly, and try not to wake my wife or whatever child has found their way to our bed in the middle of the night. And like you're just always going to have a level of fatigue that you could very easily not have if you chose to, right? Of like, you're just always tired. Which again, there was someone else who commented on a video. Like, I used to not read the YouTube comments, and I do most of the time because hopefully you can add some value. However, someone like, bro, looks like he needs a good night of sleep, and I'm like, yes, that's my life. Like, partly because I'm a parent and I need to be able to see my wife once my kids go down to bed, but also like, I'm just running and doing physical things all the time. My face is sinking because of gravity and the things I'm doing to it. Which is not why I shaved my beard. I just got too annoyed. Like our conversation last week of like, once things get too scratchy or weird, it all goes.
Mm-hmm. I feel like mine is a good segue because it's the injury part, which like, again, this morning or even last night, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and it's totally unconscious. I am stretching my legs and like pointing my heels and toes in the middle of the night to like stretch out my ankles, which I'm like, how did I get here? I used to be cool and fun. And
we do that in public. We do that
Yeah.
in public.
I was like dancing on tables at one point in college, and now I'm in bed before 9. I wake up at midnight and I find that I'm stretching my body, which is insane. But this leads me to the fatigue aspect, and this spills into work, is when all of my vacations, I come back so haggard. I am never refreshed. I am never ready to do anything more at work. In fact, like, I look awful. I just want to eat and sleep.
I'm not agreeing with you. I'm just like agreeing with myself. I'm not like saying, yes, Reese, you look awful. But my own self.
I'm like,
you can imagine.
Yeah. Everyone's like, how was your vacation? I was like, great. I ran 50 miles. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I feel pretty bad.
When I used to go into an office, I would go in like limp into work. Like I did the Tuscovia 160, and I had like pneumonia afterwards, and I like couldn't walk. So I'm like limping into the office, and my director is literally like, you need to go home. They like sat me in a chair. They had like given me a cake for finishing my race. But I like could not think straight. I was obviously sick. You're exhausted, and you're like physically can't like sit upright in a chair for an 8-hour day.
You cannot be consumer facing.
No, and I always like, to that point, Reese, I always put like at least 2 full days after, if I'm coming back from a race vacation, which is every vacation we take, is like a couple days of just nothing.
Yeah. Okay, you're next again, Alex.
Well, it's a little bit related, but like the more serious stuff of like, because I've had acute kidney injury, I've had stress fractures, I've had rhabdo, so you like, and then the suppressed immune system stuff. So you come back and like, oh, you did this thing, but then you have all this other stuff if you didn't take care of yourself, which I have been guilty of many times during these things, where you have like the physical, like kind of health fallout of that, and it lasts sometimes months, years, I feel like, because I ended up getting into like low energy and all of this stuff after kind of stacking these things, which try not to do. And I feel like that is like a huge hit, because it takes forever then to recover and for running to feel good again. And I always kind of have this thought right before a race where I'm like, oh, after this race is over, I'm going to get really fit. Like I'm going to get in shape and start running fast. Like, can't wait for this to done so I can start training better. But then it's like the MRIs and the IVs for rhabdo, but for Giardia, which I got. And just like the financial cost of that is, it adds up so much.
That's on my list. It's like, to be an ultra runner is financially silly. And it kind of connects what you said, Reese, with like vacations and medical bills. The only medical bills that I've had since becoming an adult are directly related to running. This is stupid. Like, broke my foot, needed surgery, but not after, like 5 or 6 doctor visits. Okay, then yes, I feel like I'm getting back into shape again. And that took like, what, 1 whole year, a year and a half. And then I get another injury that's directly related to the injury I had before.
Right, the compensation you did.
run at all. And here's another visit for my first ever MRI. And like just on the medical side, so financially silly. But then, I mean, I can't even tell you when you get to vacationing as an ultra runner, it's either you are absolute dirtbag and you could do it cheaply, aside from the hundreds of dollars you're going to spend to do this silly thing, or like you can double down and spend literally thousands of dollars if you want to like feel like you get a decent night's rest before a big race or something like that. Of like, it's just financially, I'm not sure that our forefathers would be proud of our financial decisions. Let's say
this expensive was on mine. I had similar, both of them actually. So it was expensive to travel to races and adventures. And I just have to say, injured, also very expensive. Which, yeah, like looking at traveling to some of my next races, because I'll drive there because I want all my stuff and like the dogs. It's the like who's taking care of the dogs if we don't bring them, in the hotels and the logistics. So yeah, very expensive. Thousands I end up spending. I probably like every year I would guess I spend close to 10K on random travel for running.
And it's not like you're doing it every weekend or like once a month. These are like, okay, 4 times a year.
Yep.
Like a normal person would
Yeah.
do something out of the ordinary, or hopefully tries to do something out of the ordinary.
But I guess a new one that's not expensive that I think it's funny. I just have written watch tan is grotesque. And
I have socially unacceptable.
Yeah, for me personally, this is very like focused on me, but I get very tan in the summer, and like sports bra tan, my sunglasses tan is out of control bad. Watch tan, sock tan. But I have like a video of me or a photo at a wedding, and I was like, what is this? And it was so noticeable because I was watching that dumb show Bridgerton, and they're all like incredibly pale. And that was the thing, right? It's like women that just stayed inside get no tan. And it's like a sign of being wealthy is that you didn't have that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I have lots of wear and tear on this. Like I have every sports bra tan possible that no dress works. My sock tan in high heels looks absolutely horrible. So I just look bad all of the time. I look like I could be running anywhere.
Yeah. At any time.
So that's mine.
Yeah, that's in like kind of combining a lot of the things we've said of like at any function that we're at, like I'm kind of either trying to sit down to, you know, rest my legs for a long run or after a long run. Yes, have these weird tan lines. Always looking a little more disheveled on all levels. Like I have to, it's like the one thing, like once I'm doing something that's not running, like I have to actually check with my wife a little bit of like, do I look okay? Like I'm not wearing joggers. I know that's a surprise. Or you know, have quarter length socks or crude length socks. Like, is this okay? And I just don't know because like nobody. This also goes into another one. Nobody understands really, and nobody cares to understand what you're doing to yourself. And so, like when I go to these places that's not running oriented, like what do I talk about? Like there's so many levels of social angst, I guess, on top of already not loving being in social scenarios.
I have something related to being presentable, but I also want to go back to race use. So one thing that I just thought of, how you wake up stretching.
Yeah.
So do you, one thing that I found,
because the routine.
We used to have like, well, we still have them, those like boots that you can sleep in that like keep your Achilles a little bit stretched. But it's like very unpleasant and it kind of like ruins your sheets and stuff. So what I do is I tuck my sheets in as tight as possible. And then my foot, like I push my foot toward the bottom and then like stays like this. And Jared hates it because he's like, has to have room and freedom and whatever for his feet. But I'm like, no, you use it to like keep your Achilles straight instead of like shortening it while you sleep.
Do you have a foot pillow?
No.
Yeah, both my wife and I definitely have like an extra. They're old like down pillows, you know, that could basically be flat, but you can bunch them together. And so, yeah, both of us have those just to keep our feet like slightly elevated during the night. So she's a runner too, and like yeah, just there was so much inflammation in my foot and ankle in this last injury that I'm like, I don't want it to touch our like firmer mattress. I like a firm mattress, but it needs to have like some sort of extra cushion just for running purposes and feeling comfortable, like at least semi-comfortable waking up.
Okay, I feel
Try
like I
a
just
foam
have
pillow.
something that's like kind of a ramp and that you can kind of adjust through the night of like more stretch.
Yeah. Well, what
I
are
have
those
to
like
say-
sleep number beds or whatever?
Okay, the next one, I have to say it right now because both of you are talking about it without saying it, which is finding a partner. Field is very limited because, right?
Very
Like,
limited.
not only do they have to like, they have to be able to crew you and like do something. Like, it's got to be like into it, and they have to be okay with this weird stuff that you right, like you're tucking your sheets in, you got a foot pillow, you're like walking around really weird, and they just got to go with it. And I think that's not something that I don't know if you can weed that out on an app of like, hey, you're gonna have to be okay with staying up for 5 days straight while I run for 250 miles.
Refer to
Here's
this link for all the
sacrifices. Like, I will not be around on weekends. Our vacations will be related to races. I will be in a wheelchair on the airport home. You will need to carry all my things. I'll be really crabby if this doesn't go well.
I become a child very quickly. Like 8 hours into anything, I am not myself.
As bad as I do. Maybe worse.
Oh my
God.
It helps so much.
This is so
Jared,
true. Thank you to
and I
our
both
partners.
do the same things. And I feel like it helps so much because we just like kind of take turns being like racing and supporting each other, and just like, you go for your 6-hour long run today, I'll go tomorrow. And I can't imagine like trying to spend with someone.
Honestly, you either have to have a partner who is already gets it. Like, I was thankful, like on so many levels, that Dawn and I met early on in our lives and are still.
Don't get too positive here, Taylor. I don't want to hear.
Oh yeah, sorry. However, they either have to completely understand or don't care to understand at all, like almost a separate life. And so like if you're in that in between, you're just gonna probably get more frustrated than anything of like the same with Dawn and I of like, if she has a race on the calendar, I won't. Like, we won't even like, we'll have separate races different times a year, and like we get to do it so often that whenever she wants to, it's just like, okay, I like at any time, whatever race, you just go for it. So like I'm so thankful she understands to an extent of like, but there's also so many levels of weirdness in this ultra running world.
Right, and to have someone who feels sorry for you, of just like, oh, you didn't train so well for your race and you ended up getting like acute kidney injury and you can't walk and I have to carry all of your things and you're like depressed and falling asleep like mid conversation. And then to have someone feel sorry for you and take you to the emergency room when you have Giardia because you drank out of somewhere that clearly you had a filter bottle, but that was too much work. So you just drank because you were tired. And you figured Giardia comes in a couple of weeks if you get it, but then you get it, and the person is like still feeling sorry for you and like being supportive and sympathetic. Like that's a gift.
I would say, there's definitely a time limit on that though, like after the race, because like get one sleep, doesn't matter how good of sleep for us it is. It's like, okay, sorry, you got to go. I was just dealing with the kids while we were at these aid stations. You got to go. Of like,
I have a more
it's your
lenient
turn.
window.
We're done here. Of like, you had your fun and you paid for it. You put us in financial ruin, and you can't. You buck up, buddy.
I am loving the negativity here. This is making me feel so fulfilled.
I haven't seen you smile this much, and
I love this shit. This is my favorite. Like, complaining, but like not taking it seriously is a favorite hobby of mine. Like, I love complaining with zero emotion attached to it. Like, I'm not. It's not going to ruin my day. I just need to make fun of something. So this is perfect for me.
Glad to
also something to add about being presentable. It's like when you fall down, which another reason not to do this is like falling sucks, and it sucks the more like the older you get, because again the recovery and like falling down feels like a very dramatic thing. It's just like you roll and you hit your knees and there's blood. And then it's like having to deal with that. And then, I don't know, just like I have so many scars on top of scars and like nerve damage in my knees where I just can't feel it anymore really when I fall. And it's just like, you're gross. Your feet look gross. Like your feet were perfectly fine before. You've shoved them in all sorts of shoes. You've like gone too far on them. They're like swollen. Your nails are gone. You have like rough spots where there were like blisters, like families of blisters where they just kept multiplying. Like it's just
on my
gross.
bingo checklist,
Gross.
it says, if you love your toenails and first layer of skin, you won't run an ultra.
Yep.
Correct.
I feel like that kind of sums it up. I got to tell this story.
Like,
and so
nicer clothes and you're still gross.
oh yeah, it doesn't matter. So
No.
like the first time I ran 100, and like I routinely lose toenails. It's just like my toenails are weak, I guess. I don't know. But I definitely had a pair of shoes that worked for training runs, but I didn't account for, this was early on in my career. I didn't account for how much my feet would swell. And I lost 9 toenails like within the next week or two of that race. And so this was right at the beginning of the school year. And in Colorado, like Colorado casual is a real thing of like, I could show up as a teacher. Yeah, I love it. I could show up as a teacher wearing cargo shorts, a t-shirt and chacos. That was my typical, like when it's warm weather, garb. But I was teaching kindergarten this year, and they have no filter for their language, no filter for what they do with their body or anything. And
or
so yeah, exactly. And so it was after this race, and we're coming in from recess, and one of the kids went ahead unknowingly, to help. He wanted to help open the door, but he didn't say anything. There's a little routine to this. So he went out of the routine and he pulled the door open, and it went straight over my big toe. Cause and it was, I had 8 toenails, and now this was like losing number 9. And so now that was 2019, and my toenail is still messed up.
Did you swear when it happened?
I said, oh, but then I had to like push the door, because those big exterior doors. I had to push the door off of my toenail, and it's just gushing blood. Like it immediately put a hole in it. And so I'm like reading a book to these kids while holding like a paper towel over top of my toenail. And the same kid who had no idea what happened, he always loved him to death, but he was always very close to me, and I just knew he needed like if he would put his hand on my knee, I knew I would just like hold his hand. But he was also infatuated with my weird toenails, and so he would always just like touch them softly. This is exactly. And so like I'm holding a book, reading this book to these kindergarten kids, holding my toe, like bleeding out. Basically, it was the worst my toes have ever bled. And he's touching my other toe, like my other foot. And I'm just like, in this moment, I'll forever remember that moment of like, there's so many levels of dissatisfaction going on right now. And that takes a lot for me.
I'm so glad I don't have kids.
But following that day of like, I obviously, after I got the kids to lunch, I had to go to the nurse's office, and she had to help me out, and completely didn't understand why all of my toenails, or why I would do that to myself, all this kind of stuff. And then like the following day, the principal comes down and asked if like, oh, maybe you should be wearing closed-toed shoes. Okay, maybe some stories are getting home to families about my toenails.
I have a
but if you love your toenails, don't.
So a kid situation again with the feet. So I had a huge, like super disgusting blister, like the kind that turns into kind of like a hole after the race.
Yeah.
It was like deep. So I was like wearing sandals for like 2 weeks, and this thing was just like gross and like leaking and all this. Some kid coming out of a store got close to me. He was like with his dad. I remember this little kid. Like,
Don't tell me with a cart.
No, he gave me a flat tire, and the whole thing like ripped off. And I screamed. I was like, fuck. And I was like, and then I realized there was a child and a father. And I like turn around and I'm like, I'm sorry. And then I'm just like, I didn't know what to do because I like panicked. But he like took it off. Like, I don't know what kind of tread he had on his little shoe, but I'm like,
mega grip.
Mega
grip. Had to be. There's no other.
Even GS Black tread. Just right. But yeah, so I was like, immediatally, because of that reaction, I was like, I'm sorry that I swore kind of at your child. He like backed up, and I'm sorry. But also, you should be sorry.
I love that.
They didn't get closer to you again. Well, that's the thing.
Alex,
like,
do
do you guys do like, what is it? Manicure, pedicure? What is it for your feet? Pedicure. Like, do you guys do that?
They're always in a bad place where I'm like, oh, you have to be careful around that. You can't go too deep. I'll do my own
thing. Too many qualifiers.
I don't have enough toenails.
Yeah. Yep.
There'd be nothing
for them to paint two toenails that are like actually on there. The rest of them don't. They're just like these weird growth of a nail that's got like a weird raised nail bed that doesn't.
Yeah, I know. It just like goes up.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what this is. I gotta like, this is painful. Please don't touch these.
They've become accustomed to being jammed into running shoes, and everything else is very sensitive on them.
Yes.
Oh man,
Alex, do you have more? I have a few that I could just touch on if you don't.
Another one that I have is just kind of like, despite you can have perfect training blocks, you can do everything right, you like spend all the money on the fuel and the right gear, and you get everything dialed in, and I feel like there's just, and this is life, but you show up to your race and like one ankle turn, like one thing, like there's just so many factors outside, like environmental factors, animals, other racers, injuries, like there's just so many things outside of our control that you can do your best to mitigate things and respond to them, but some things are just completely, like the outcome is completely out of our control sometimes, despite our best efforts. And that sucks.
You will be a failure.
You fail.
Right.
You will fail.
And it will.
It can go wrong, it will.
Well, that's the thing. Like I've never run an ultra, and there's always been something that has gone wrong. And that's, I'll talk about this next week, but that's like part of sport and part of the fun of it too. But there's always something that goes wrong. No matter how much you can get, your blood test, your sweat test, you can do VO2 max, you can have like you said, the best training block of your life, and kapa, done.
Right. And you like puke and fall down and then be like, I have to be done.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not only your own disappointment within that, like, man, when you ask other people to be a part of this stupid thing, of like, you're also setting them up to be disappointed. They will be disappointed. Maybe for
you're like wasting your time and a lot of other people's time.
Yeah,
by doing these.
Yeah.
It is so hard. To not give the alternate, like even like as we're all talking, I don't know if all of
you're trying to be positive.
I know all of like I keep being like, well, I'm like, don't negative only. No, I
wonder how much it'll switch for next week of like, will it be really hard to be positive only?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think, my next ones, they're pretty simple. So I don't know, because I know we have some other stuff to talk about, but the one is like a trail-based personality. You have an outdoor-based personality. So that goes back to like people, you're just going to be a little bit of a weirdo. Winters are going to be tough if you're not a skier.
Yep.
The other one that I think, God, and it kills me because sometimes I choose this myself when it's like a big adventure and I get to choose the time I start, and it's always at like 5 a.m. and I'm eating at 3 a.m. And this next race that I'm going to do, the shuttle to the start is at 2:45 a.m. I'm like, who made this up?
That's just stupid.
Right.
2:45?
Between 2:45 and 3:45. And I'm just like, why can we all agree that it's okay to start at like 7 a.m. like a normal person, so I'm not eating at like midnight? Like, this is insane.
Yeah.
So I hate
it's a
I
logistical
get so much
nightmare.
anxiety about that early. Like if I have to wake up that early.
It's
you don't sleep anyway.
no. There was I did
I do. I
something
like to
called
sleep that, but
I
it's
did
hard to sleep with
something did something called the Bryce Canyon Traverse Duathlon, where it's like a 30-mile run, and then I did an 18-mile bike ride. And so I woke up at, I think it was like probably like 4 or 3 something to eat breakfast. And we were camping and I hadn't planned it well. Like I thought I had the right rice packet to like heat up with this chicken, and I didn't. I grabbed the wrong one, and it was Thai chili lime at like 3 a.m. with weird cold chicken. And I was like gagging this down. It was probably one of the most memorably bad things I've ever eaten. And then, you know, it's like 3 a.m. You're just not hungry, but to have Thai lime chili that early was so disturbing.
You drink it with coffee?
The only thing you'd really want.
Or eat it with coffee?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Like,
I have to have tea in the morning. But I just remember starting, because it's like a downhill start, and you just taste it. You're just like, oh chili. Thai lime chili is pretty brutal. So,
well, I mean, that kind of goes on to one of my other ones that I had. Your snacks are terrible and terribly expensive. Like the things that you're eating while doing an ultra are like $3 to $7 per little pack of liquid. And I mean, to be honest, and I have a really good stomach for this, I would say. But and I can eat a lot of different things, a lot of different textures and all that. It never is great, like choking down a gel or 30 through your time out there of like, and then not even to mention how you're going to feel on the back end of that and what's coming out of you. Like nothing about it is pretty or tasty.
Do either of you use the Precision 90s, those big gels in your races?
Yeah.
I haven't yet.
So I usually during training, I just like take the whole thing because I feel like the consistency is so gross to me, and it always gives me a little bit of a gag reflex. So I like try to take it down, like
especially when it's
try to
warm.
like breathe, you know, the thing where it kind of bypasses, and like just try to take the whole thing. And I did it during I Am Tough, and I like squeezed the whole thing in, and then I'm like, okay. And then immediately the whole thing just came out. And I'm like, that's so expensive. I was like, if there's a way, getting back to like eating things off the ground, I'm like, if there was a way to take that back, I would totally eat it.
You pull out a straw.
It's like such a waste. The last thing I had was, well, I have 2 more things, but one of them was just kind of that unknown outcome thing. Like I signed up for Bighorn, had a pretty good training block, did that. Within 6 miles, I got stung by a bee. I'm allergic to bees. Dropped out of the race.
Oh.
But like the night before, so it's like that. But the night before that race, I was like to Jared, I'm like, we're just sitting in this Airbnb. I'm like, let's just watch something like light, not stressful, not related to running, whatever. So I found Martha Stewart's documentary, and she was talking about her life and like all these things. And all I could think of was like, I could live a life like that. Like I could live a life where I'm like comfortable. I look nice. I'm like presentable. She like was wearing nice clothes, and she was just like cooking nice dinners, doing meal prep, making sure her house was beautiful. And I was like, I told Jared, I'm like, that's the life I want. I want that life. Like this is stressful and like kind of nerve-wracking, like all the time. I'm always anxious about something related to running. And then I'm like, we could have such a nice house. We could have nice meals every night. I could wear nice clothes. I don't have to look like this all the time. And I just like was so lulled into that where I was just like, it's so different than what I'm about to do. And it sounds so good. Like to just live like that, you know? I'm just like different types of stress, I guess. But I'm like, it just sounded like so appealing in that moment. I just wanted to like wish myself into like this different existence of just nice things.
Not things that will hurt you or make you feel unwell and unpretty and all that. I have, go ahead.
I was say my last ones are similar to what we were talking about, where they're kind of the same, one and the same, where it was like grocery bill. Sometimes I eat like a child. During running, like I don't normally eat large quantities of Pop-Tarts, but while running, absolutely. And after big training weeks, I am slamming some calzones, some pizza. Like it's stuff like I normally don't eat. I do cook like very nice meals, but I'll eat like a total child and I love it. But then this new one,
you hate it. You hate it.
Yeah, I hate it. This new one, God, and it makes me feel so old. I didn't think that as like becoming like, I'll be 40 in a couple of years, that I would think about teeth so much, but I do. So I had to start using sensitive toothpaste recently because my teeth.
Sensodyne?
I don't know. Just whatever it is. But I just went back to the dentist on Tuesday, and I get so many cavities. Like my teeth are like these shapes in the back, and easy to get cavities. And my dentist was like, "Yeah, we see this in a lot of athletes because all the sugars you eat are so hard and they stick a lot. So like, it's really easy to get cavities." So now I have prescription toothpaste with like extra fluoride, so that, because right now I have to go get like 4 cavities filled. I'm like, and I'm predisposed to having,
Well, of course. Yeah. Some of that.
I'm like, I just have like teeth like chalk for some reason. But in addition,
will you send a picture of it, of like what's in it?
Yeah, it's just like an extra fluoride.
I'm gonna get the over the counter.
Yeah, so I have to go in between my regular over-the-counter toothpaste, and then I have to go to my dentist to go get prescription toothpaste because my teeth, after consuming just like an egregious amount of sugar, they just ate away at everything. So,
have you, Coach, have you had people related to the sugar thing have their blood work come up pre-diabetic after like races or like hard things?
I don't know. I know for a minute I had blood work done at one point during training, and I was like type 1.5 is what they said. And I was like, I'm definitely not. Yeah, I was like, I'm definitely not like diabetic. And my doctors were concerned because the levels of everything were like showing that and like my blood sugar would like keep dropping really quickly.
Yep. Yeah. And your heart rate's really low. And
right. They're like, what's wrong with you?
You are practically dead. Yeah. Yeah. I have one more.
Okay.
One more on my list. You realize how terrible at math you are and how terribly optimistic you are too.
Don't have that optimistic one. Tell me why you're
Well, I mean, the splits you might put down on your spreadsheet could be
in that way.
Yeah, and in telling your crew like, I'll meet you here at this time, and you're either like 30 minutes ahead or like 2 hours behind. And yeah, it's just hard to get your head around really how quick or slow you might be going.
George knows me better than I know myself for the most part. Like in the Grand Canyon, I was like to the second, but for JFK, I was off by like 45 minutes to an hour on some of them. And my mom was like,
I'm not gonna... you would be slower?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I was optimistic for you on that one. I knew you were going to be up there.
Yeah. George was like, don't trust anything Reese says. Ask me. He's like, I know she's wrong.
I feel like I always err on that side too, where I'm like, who knows if I'll even finish? And then Jared's actually got a spreadsheet in the background being like, here's, because I'm like pretty consistent. He's like, here's where you'll finish. And I usually do.
I love it. I'm so glad we did this negativity. I love it.
I have another one.
Okay.
That like
I wasn't done yet. I just need this.
All the travel and all the stuff, like it's not good for anything. It's not good for the environment. It's not good for the anything, sustainability. So I feel like that's obviously huge. And then like staying in hotels and all that has a huge environmental impact. And then
The travel.
Like animals, like we are in their space, you know? Like I'm going through, like at Tahoe, I had a bear encounter, and I still kind of blame Scott Jurek a little bit for this because he
Scotty J.
What?
Yeah. Blame him for everything. He's the reason why we're here.
Gosh. He is the reason he's the reason that we're in this mess. But he had gone up, and so someone else on the trail has been like, well, Scott was yelling at the bear and pissed it off. And I don't know if this is true. It might not be true, but he was up there. There was a bear at the top, and it was a mom ended up being like with young cubs. And for some reason, I had this like, this is like I don't even know. I'm not really good with remembering things like this. 160, 170, I don't know. It was later in the race. I see the bear, and I kind of like process of like, oh, there's a bear like on the trail, like in my way, in my way.
You're sure? Because this could be a negative of ultras too. Hallucinations.
Yeah, and like
it was a real bear.
It was a real bear, and my instinct was like, because I grew up out in the country, like running and biking, and I would always just kind of like do this to the dog. I'm like, go home. I did that to the bear. I didn't tell it to go home, but I was like, get out of here. And I like kind of lunged at it. And I'm like, I don't even know if that's as I was doing it, I'm like going through my like, you know, way back here. Like, what are you supposed to do when you encounter a bear? You're not supposed to run, I don't think. You're supposed to like back away, cover your neck. I don't know. So I like did that, did not move, took a step toward me. And I'm like, oh, like I had this realization of just like, you are in
and you have all the sugar.
This animal's space. Like, what are you doing? Like lunging at it like that. So I just like slowly backed up into the trees and waited for people to come. And this woman ended up like playing Christmas music. She's like, bears don't like bells. So she played Christmas music while we like went by. But we like saw there were like,
I love that logic.
She's like, it's fine. Turn on some music. But then for the rest of the time,
documented fact.
You're there. So I'm like going through the woods, like clicking my trekking poles, like talking to myself, like being complete, like, I don't even remember what I was saying, but I was just like yelling random things to make sure they knew I was coming, like the rest of the race.
Well,
yeah, it was
it also reminds me too of like, we're not only in animal space, but like other recreator space. The most I've ever been like cussed out or like negative talk, and we could talk about this next week too, of like also positive talk, but the most I've honestly been like cussed out has been from like hikers on a trail, and like I trying to say I'm coming behind you on your left, they move right, or you know, move the opposite way, and you know, end up disrupting some flow. We're naturally disruptive as ultra and trail runners, and yeah, there's some mean people out there who say mean things about you when you're running.
It was probably me.
I think no, you wouldn't be hiking. That's the thing. We've ruined ourselves for any other recreating because it's too slow. And maybe that's another. That wasn't even on my list, but that's the truth. I can't even hike anymore. I was trying to cross country ski the other day, and I'm like, I don't want to take the time to learn to do this well because I could just go run.
Yeah.
Nothing else is as fun. Or
you ruined the bike for me too, because the bike is like, I'm broke, I can't do anything else. I'll strap my boot to the bike. Or I'm like, I used to like biking, but now it's become a negative thing.
Do you all like a pet peeve of mine, and this is like maybe slightly related, is when runners or hikers, and I know they mean well, I know it, so I just want to say that, but they cheer me on, or like they have to comment, we're like, didn't know we were in a race. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's the stuff that gets me.
I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Slow down and enjoy the scenery, race.
Yeah, people get like mad. Like I remember I ran up Angel's Landing and someone was like, oh, guess she's gonna win. And I was like,
yeah,
I'm enjoying it in the way I want to. Why is this like so controversial at this moment that you like I'm coming back. This is an out and back. Like you're gonna see me again.
Well, I have canned responses. This happens so often, in Rocky Mountain National Park has a lot of different people, and so like this happens so often that I have like automatic responses. I either always just say thanks, but if it comes to the point where, and this like actually happened, like there's one mountain, Deer Mountain. I shouldn't have even said the mountain. There's a mountain because I don't want any people on this trail. I might need to edit that out. But there's another trail up that almost nobody is on, and everybody takes the main trail, and so there's another way to the peak. And so the last section, you follow the same, 0.2 miles, maybe not even, up to the top. And so I met this family, one dad, you can probably imagine the Under Armour Freedom shirt he's wearing, and has a kid in the backpack, a young kid, and a wife. And he's just like got outrageously mad at me, and the same thing of I can see you're going to beat us to the top. And he just kept going as I was going, and of like,
what?
You effing show off, like all of this. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, yes, I came up to this exact point, popped out of the woods just to impress your wife more than you do. Of like, is that what you're worried about?
Impress everybody's wife.
I took a different trail so I wouldn't see people, and that's the stuff. Yeah. That actually bothers me. And there's not much that bothers me yet.
Wow.
And so like I had to like talk myself down from like saying something, because I would see him on the way back down, right? So I talked myself down from saying anything, which again, so rarely happens. But from then on, I'm like, okay, now I have to be prepared in the place that I feel the most safe in to like retort or defend the thing that I'm doing. I'm like, sorry, I'm a dad too, and just trying to get home to my kids quicker. Like, what do you want me to say?
I don't feel like I'm that threatening on the trail. I feel like most people, like, I end up getting offended because they're like, have a nice hike. I'm like, I am running.
Yeah.
I don't relate to that. No one's ever said that to me.
I love that. I normally...
Sorry, there's my aggressive rant.
I love that. I love that for you. I feel like I normally try to say thanks, but I feel like I laugh and then say like a non-word, but it's verbal, where I'm like, I just, it, like the word doesn't come out. And I was like,
as your gel is dripping out of your cheeks.
Yeah. I'm just like, why am I such an idiot? You just like say something. You're like, that's not, I said like 4 words at once. Like,
or you always say you too, of like, no matter what they said, like you too is not a response that should have been remotely appropriate for that comment that they made.
Yeah. Mine's always like a guttural, like, like what?
I asked some woman, she's like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, good, how's it going? And then she's like, good. And then I said, how's it going again? And I just kept saying it. And then I was like, and she kind of looked at me like, stop. Like, what is wrong with you? I was like, I just kept asking you.
I feel like this is the one that we do need to qualify with, like, maybe this is our bridge into next week, of like, next week we will talk about the reasons why you should be doing an ultra or trail running. And I would say by and large, most people are very encouraging when they see you out on the trail, and who are not runners or are runners. Like, I almost never run into runners, but they're really generally and genuinely like encouraged and wowed by, because it's a weird thing that we're doing. But
I'm excited for next week too. Like I think so many of the things that we listed, I like the flip that it's also why we're doing them too. So thanks for indulging on this one though.
No, it was a great one.
Okay. And for as positive as a guy as I am, that was actually fun.
See, it's fun, Taylor. Be negative more often.
This is really our therapy session.
This is good for you.
Well, I take all my negativity out on trail shoes, or maybe not, depending on who
That's me for sure.
Me too. I'm quick to just be like, I hate it. It's trash.
Trash.
Well, we need that perspective too, because there are people who like are like, have your foot shape, have like your stride, your preferences, and yours too, Reese, and mine
Your
too. And so
comfort.
like it does pay to be critical in our position. But I do have a shoe here that
Yes.
I'm actually being more critical. I was more critical on. I've had more runs in it. This is the Nike ACG Ultrafly. Big drop, maybe one of the most anticipated launches of the year. Aside from that Speedgoat 7 that you stress bought.
I'm stressed about it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here soon. But Reese and I and Thomas had got this. I got some of his thoughts too, of like this is basically a Vaporfly for the trails. I mean, essentially, a lot of the same aesthetics, not necessarily all the same technology, but there is a fly plate in there, carbon plate. They do have this ZoomX high energy foam that they're known for. You know, a lot of it they say tuned for the trails, and they describe it as being your trail racing shoe from anything from light trails to technical. And that's where I have an issue with it. I'm just going to continue being negative. This is my MO
Yes.
today.
Yes.
Of like,
Yes, queen.
We did it. We broke him.
Yes.
Hey.
Thank God.
Okay, but I mean, overall, like this shoe, for as much hype as there has been, I really do think it's a good shoe. I still have like another long run, and I'm gonna go do a workout in it right after this. I think there's a lot of good things about it, but it's not exactly what I thought it would be, or even was hoping it would be. I think there's gonna be people who are so up in the hype about it that they might end up being disappointed. Those are my initial thoughts. What do you think, Reese? You've run in it too.
Yeah, I did. My first run was, I think, like 9 or 10 miles just around town on like super easy trails / some dirt road.
Mhm.
And then the next day I ran, I think it was like 15 miles in it, up some like technical stuff, down technical stuff. And I just wanted to like this shoe so much. I think because like the hype. And when you look at it individually, all the pieces, you're like, this is going to be my shoe. Like
Yeah,
this is
on
gonna
paper,
be,
it looks phenomenal.
yeah, like this is gonna be my new go-to. And I'm always like open to that because I do have like the 3 shoes I always race in, and I'm like, this could be the new one. And I mean, I texted you and Thomas and I was like, are you guys having trouble with the heel? Did they send me the right size? Is the heel? So it was a bummer that the heel just never felt secure. And I
It's
don't
kind of
know if
on that edge of like, you can't be super confident in it
yeah,
necessarily. Of like, mine was never like slipping out of the heel
yeah,
pocket necessarily, but it wasn't staying put exactly how I wanted either.
yeah. And I think that's what I noticed the most was because of the high stack and because the heel wasn't great, I noticed that on the descents is when I was like, be careful here, slow down. Whereas in a shoe like the Norda 5 or the Vective Sky 2, I don't really have to think about it. I'm like,
I've heard
oh,
about those.
yep, I'm here, I'm good. Let's just go for it. So I definitely was more cautious, but I love the outsole. Like I love that it's super minimal, that it's like fast. It's not crazy luggy. They use the Mega Grip really well. I think the plate, again, maybe I'm a smaller person. I'm like 5'3" in those shoes probably.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this just a huge full plate too big for someone like me? Maybe it's like it feels different for a larger runner. I felt like it was stiff enough that the next day and even that night I had a ton of calf pain.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, ton of calf pain that I couldn't wear it the 3rd day. I was like, I got to get back to the Nordas.
Yeah. So I mean, here's one of the things of like I'm kind of like agreeing with you on a lot of like the outsole was fantastic, especially if it's dry. If you
Yeah.
get into deeper sand, of course, or mud, I haven't even looked at the spec sheet. I try not to until I fully review it. But it was good on dry stuff, and it does transition so smoothly between surfaces. The ZoomX, like if you touch it, it feels like, yeah, like exactly you said, it's gonna be like the foam, the feel. And ZoomX has always been good. And they even wrap the forefoot in this like kind of like what you would do an overlay with on an upper. They wrapped it in that kind of material. And I like that in the first version, except they had it for the full midsole. Now it's just the forefoot. And I actually really appreciate that kind of attention. But for some reason, it was much firmer than I thought it was going to be. It's not an outrageously firm shoe, but firmer than I thought it was going to be, especially compared to competitors. It has softened up. And so I've liked it more as I was in it more. But yeah, the plate itself is so rigid that if you get onto semi-technical terrain, especially on the downhills, of like it's kind of shooting you this way and that, and it's like overly stable within the midfoot because of how stiff that plate is. Like I couldn't function as I normally would want to on more technical terrain. And so I think this shoe is more limited than it's marketed. But then on the other hand, of like when I was on smoother stuff, I was going faster than I was perceiving. And so it felt really good on that. But the 8.5 millimeter drop, I think, is what's really getting me, plus the firmer plate.
Yeah. So, like on uphills, my arches would hurt because like there was no bend.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my God. Okay. So I was like, man, so, my like, arches
I'm afraid
really...
my injury is coming back because of this shoe. Of like,
yeah. I definitely was like,
so sad. Alex's eyes are just like, what?
Yeah,
crazy.
I had to not run. I was like, I'm gonna get actually injured if I run in these again, because my like arches were taking up so much like slack of they were working so hard on the uphills, and then my calf was. I've scheduled a massage for next week because it still hurts.
ACG Ultrafly.
And I was like, I got to be careful in this show. But yeah. So first thoughts on that one.
Well, I think if you're a road crossover person, that generally does have that like, I mean, the fit to me compared to the first one is slightly slimmer too. And so you're going to feel more at home. Like if you're coming from that, is the Vaporfly or something like that, and you've done road marathons, I think this could be a really great shoe for you. And it'll inherently feel more protective, feel more stable. Like Thomas, he said he's had a very limited run, but he said the shoe's perfect. And I'm like, what do you mean by perfect? Like,
we're like, hold up.
Don't anger me here with that comment of like, I think I can see how it's a really, really good Western State shoe, but I cannot see someone like doing UTMB and doing really well in it. I just think, yeah. But I'll probably, I don't think I'll change my mind on all that based on the runs I have left. But I am excited to do a workout in it. You know, gradual
Reese, do you think the calf pain is like the stiffness, or what do you attribute that to?
Yeah, I think because there was like the biomechanics of how I was pushing off on uphills and even on the flat, I think it was so different combined with the high stack, or the drop. The 8.5 is pretty significant. I think it just changed slightly what muscles I was using during each stride. And, you know, I ran like 25 miles on these just immediately. And I think my body was just like, ooh. So I think if I eased into it, maybe it would have been better and done like Nike, Norda. It would have been good, but I did not do that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, most trail shoes these days have between, you know, it's like 3 and 6 millimeters is like the average of drop. And there's a lot of people out there that will say that you really can't tell the difference between this and that. And once it gets to 8, and I really can't, if it's 0, I can tell the difference. If it's in that 3 to 6 range, I can tell it's within that range. If it gets above 8, I start questioning. And that's why I don't look at spec sheets most of the time, because I want to like feel that for myself. And I text you pretty much right after my first run and asked if you knew the overall stack, because I was like curious about it based on how my body was feeling. And yeah, sure enough, it's 8.5 millimeter drop. And so that's like olden days Solomon. Some Solomons will still do that, but like coming from the roadside. So it's interesting. Yeah, but
I want a low stack
criticalness.
version of it. That's all I want. I just want a low stack version. Give me that.
Well, honestly, if they put a little more under the forefoot, make this like a 4 millimeter drop and a little more cushion in the forefoot. And I mean, I think they really need to adjust the plate a little bit to make this as functional of a trail shoe and not just kind of like that glorified gravel shoe, especially with how they're marketing it. That's where the rub comes for me. If you were saying this is your gravel or light trail race day shoe, like the Hoka Rocket X Trail did, phenomenal. I think this could be an incredible shoe. But if you're saying this is a trail shoe for any race day options, no.
Fair.
Yeah, it's fair.
Okay.
Do better tonight.
More negativity from Taylor. I like it.
Here for this.
Yes.
I'm gonna just do this every week before I write my reviews. I'm gonna wait until we have this podcast and then
Bring it out of you.
Yeah. Feisty. Okay. Well, next week, talk about why we are gonna do ultras or why we love it. And I want to hear from Alex, an original Speed Goat Evo lover, on her experience in the Speed Goat 7. We need that perspective.
Here for that.
Okay.
All right.
This has been fun.
Yeah, hopefully you guys go find something to complain about for the rest of the day.
Oh,
I know
I want to do a workout in this shoe, so I know I will. Just kidding.
Yes, I'm loving this.
Don't take any of my
energy.
quotes, Nike. Okay.
All right.
I better get off before I suddenly say something really stupid.
Yeah. Bye, y'all.
Hey, this is Taylor with Believe in the Run, and today I have the privilege of sitting down with Alex from Terignota. If you haven't heard of the brand, you'll get to hear about it today, I guess. And this brand and the mode and means and how they choose to operate means a lot to me as a consumer and someone who's heavily into my own running and gear and all that. So I'm excited to hear from Alex. So Alex, first of all, welcome to The Drop.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I mean, this conversation I've wanted to have for really well over a year, even before we were doing podcasts here. I just wanted to hear from you personally, just how Terignota came to be, how you guys choose to operate in such a transparent way and kind of stick close to pillars. But I feel like we need to learn a little bit more about you personally and the company behind the brand. So Alex, I guess, give us a little history on yourself and then maybe how you got to the point of launching a brand yourself.
Yeah. Well, I think a little history on myself is I grew up in the tiny town of Charlotte Lake, Washington. In southern Washington, right at the base of Mount Adams. And growing up, I always loved building things and tinkering and just creating. And growing up, those were they never had anything to do with apparel. It was like go-karts and engines and metal stuff and woodworking and just like hard mechanical things. I always was like making something. And then I guess in terms of running growing up, I like, I did track and field in high school and I guess middle school as well. But, and then, I mean, quite casually, it was a very small school, so it wasn't very competitive, but, I started trail running like in the, maybe late middle school or something like that. And, just would get out for like one run every 2 weeks with, my brother and, a friend of ours, Tim Dearden, and would mostly complain about it, but would have a good time in the end.
So you said Trout Lake. Is that the town you were saying, Trout Lake?
Yeah, Trout Lake, yeah.
Is this like, because I grew up in a rural area too, but trails were not at all part of like the community of like, if there was a trail or like a conservation area that would have trails, it was meant for hunting and fishing and that kind of thing. So like the idea of trail running to me growing up was like non-existent. Does Trout Lake kind of have a community that has some of these types of sports or like mountain biking and that kind of stuff?
I mean, Trout Lake's definitely an outdoor town, but kind of like you said, it's much more of like a farming, hunting outdoor town.
Okay.
Then, yeah.
So you were the weird kids for sure.
Yeah, but fortunately, I mean, so we did have like an incredible, or we do, Trout Lake does, don't tell anyone, but Trout Lake does have like an incredible trail network.
Keep it on the DL.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard to find actually if you don't just know the trails there because they're not on a lot of maps or anything. But fortunately, my mom and my dad, they were both big into like horse endurance riding. So they like made a ton of the trails actually there and like developed a big part of the system. And then my mom got into trail running herself when she was like 40 something. And
and was that out of like maintenance? Because I know my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, they create trail systems, but they don't necessarily say they're going on a hike or anything. They just say they're going to maintain the trail. But that's kind of how they get into like hiking and doing that kind of stuff. Is that kind of the same of like, just had to go check on the trails, make sure they're fine, but she ended up running them?
Well, I mean, initially, they built them for horses, and then
exactly.
I don't really know what the catalyst was from going from riding a horse to running, but it has really taken over her life. So now she's like she's like, a running super fan, and also just like an incredible runner herself. She's actually doing Terignota in, I don't know, whatever, 3 days from now. So
this weekend.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Go mom.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so like from there of like, obviously, like maybe you're part of the generation. I was kind of like, a latchkey kid born in the early 90s. And we kind of got the grace of like, we didn't have anything other than being outdoors and exploring and tinkering and doing those kind of things in such a small town. Was that kind of the same for you? And then naturally what you were playing around in with doing things in the woods turned into something you really love?
Yeah. I mean, I spent all of my time. Well, there was like 3 things I spent my time in, which was like sports, like high school sports. Like I said, building things. Like I would go after practice or whatever, I would go to this guy's shop and just
sweet
build away.
Every kid's dream.
Yeah, it was great. Then exploring outside. Not necessarily. I mean, I didn't really get into like running for the personal enjoyment and like pursuit of it until I was in college, like the longer distance trail running. But it was kind of just forced to be outside.
I mean, just knowing a little bit about Terignota, it's like it kind of ends up being a pretty clear line of like how this has been developed now as a brand, and like how you can play such an integral part on like pretty much every side of the brand itself.
Yeah. So, I mean, like jumping forward in terms of like background of Terignota and background of myself, I guess like in college, I went to college for mechanical engineering, which is like not apparel design by any means, or actually doesn't have that much relation to it, but it like gives me a good background. And I've just always been interested in like creating things, and that's what's helpful for that. And then also, I got like kind of went off the deep end in running during college. I didn't like compete on a college team or anything, but I just would run a lot. And so then I guess continuing forward, there were like, I mean, and as the story has kind of shown there were like, I don't know, 3 pillars or factors or something that added into creating Terignota, which were like, one, pursuing running at a high level. Like the past, I don't know, 10 plus years, I've been trying to be a good trail runner.
I mean, I'm a fan of the sport, and there are a lot of races that you can just look up results at any weekend, and I see your name up there on top of podiums and doing really well. So checking on that box for sure, just running at a high level.
Yeah, checking on that box, and then the next is just like I have loved building things, and so after college, before I started Terignota, I had a different business building tiny homes, which is completely unrelated, but it was
sweet.
Yeah, I just
wait. Do you live in one?
No, I don't live in one anymore.
Okay.
I lived in a Anyway, so
what you said anymore? What's tiny home life like? I'd imagine like a little less hard than van life.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily hard, and I only had a stint of about a year when I lived in a tiny home that I built for myself, and then I actually downgraded to just a trailer, like a pull behind camper trailer, for another year, and then
and I think this will eventually bleed into Terignota's story more too, of like simplicity is of importance. Like simplicity is one of those like hallmark key factors for me in terms of like quality gear. Simplicity, if you can do it well, and I guess that's kind of the purpose of living in a van or a tiny home or trailer, I guess, of like simplicity, right?
Simplicity, to some extent. I mean, I wouldn't ever say I'm like such a minimalist guy or like anything like that, but for me
that's your only t-shirt you wear.
Yeah, for me it was like just to be financially, it was like for the financial part of it, to not pay rent, to just have more flexibility with what I do, with not being like stuck in I have these super high expenses every year or every month, so I have to that for me was motivation for living simply, I guess.
For sure.
So I guess going back to like the pillars of Terignota, which is running, building things, and then so right after college, I got a job for Nash kiteboarding, based in Maui.
Okay.
And I was like a product designer for them, and I spent a lot of time overseas. So I spent a lot of time in China, like getting stuff made, and like saw behind the curtain of like how much something cost us, like from the factory. Like we would get a product, whatever product it would be, made for like, I don't know, $30. And then by the time it got to the customer, it'd be like $400. And not because we were making whatever $370 off of it. It's just because it had to go through so many hands, and every hand had to make money on it. So like by the time it actually got to the end consumer, it would cost a lot without any extra value being added to it through those times it touched people's hands. So those are like,
and we're seeing that with pretty much every soft good on the market, especially like pretty much the larger the brand, the more, not even the more quality of brand, even just the larger the brand, the more hands it has to go through. I mean, when we're talking about shoes and $160 being kind of our value price these days, that's insane. Especially knowing that how much they built it for is exactly as you're saying, of like pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, totally. And I like it. I get that, retailers are important, and
for sure.
All this, it just seems like there should be an alternative option or a better way, or it seems like,
and
yeah.
yeah, there's opportunity nowadays for having kind of both models of the way of working, like a business, right? You can do it your way, which isn't necessarily going to infringe or take away from anybody else doing it their way. But I think that's the really cool thing about Terignota, and like just following along over like the last year and a half, really, of like you're able to do it your way, and it's successful enough for you guys to get product to people who care about it in the same fashion, who can benefit from it, and you can maintain those pillars. And that's what's like really an intriguing story for me, of like, you guys have been written about in Outside and Runner's World, and you've had multiple podcasts, you know, around the industry, and for good reason, because you are doing things different. So when it comes down to it, like, how is Terignota doing things different in trail running apparel?
Yeah, it's like, I think we're doing things differently by like cutting out all unnecessary expenses that don't relate directly to like getting a high quality product to the end consumer for the most affordable and accessible price we can offer while still staying in business. So like, we do things differently by we don't do any paid advertising. Like, we don't spend money on Meta ads or Google ads or anything like that. You know, our offices are very minimal and not the most ideal, but they work. And then, yeah, like right now, hopefully I'll be able to get some help in the not too distant future. But right now it's just me doing everything from designing to customer service to packing orders. And
which like, it's been so impressive to kind of see the trajectory of like, I love that, again, like you're staying close to your pillars with Terignota. And Terignota, what does Terignota mean? I'm going to pit stop there.
Yeah. Terignota is a combination of the words terra and the ignota, which are Latin for land unknown.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole backstory to that, but yeah.
Can you give us a little snippet of that before I ask this next question?
Yeah. I was I ruptured my Achilles 2.5 years ago, and
certainly not good for a runner.
Not good for a runner. And during the recovery of that, I got really into gravel biking, and kind of going along the lines of what Terignota is now. I like got really into gravel biking, bought a gravel bike, and then wanted something that was like more high performance oriented, because I got into like racing and I just like gear. But I didn't want to pay $5,000 or more for a nice carbon bike with all the goodies on it. And so I went straight to a factory in China to get a frame made. And then I was talking with a friend of mine, and he was like, "Oh, that's like that I've done that before, and it's good and all, but then you can never resell the bike because like nobody wants like a no-name brand bike that they can't trust." And I was like, "Oh, well, I'll just make up a name and put it on there that sounds fancy." And then, so that's how, then I just like went through names, made Terignota. I don't know, it sounds whatever. And, put it on the bike. And that was like the origin of Terignota, which anyway, then
first
I just
product
used it for this. Exactly. Yeah. I still have that bike. I love it. And,
I mean, I love that it's catchy. Like, it's one of those, like, sometimes, you know, you get like someone's name in your head and it repeats. I feel like Terignota is one of those words or phrases is the same. Yeah. It's catchy. And then, I mean, I love something that has meaning behind it, of like,
I mean, and
unknown land exploration.
At the the time that at that time in my life, I was like, I had just ruptured my Achilles. Didn't know like what the future held for me in terms of running and living my life as I was living it before. And so like, it felt like a very unknown land I was going through, which is why I personally
for sure
resonated with Terignota.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, I mean, what were products then, like how quickly after that bike frame were you like, oh, I can do this? Because if I remember correctly, like a sock. Was the sock kind of the first soft good you had?
Yeah. I mean, so like the sock origin story. So like those, the pillars or factors that led into Terignota that I was talking about before were like catalyzed into Terignota itself as it is now by this like sock story, which is, I was like I was doing a little training camp in Boulder, and went into, I needed some new socks. And so I went into a running store in Boulder, and bought 2 pairs of socks, well, $25 each. And, came out of the store $50 later and was like, man, this is like so unsustainable for my lifestyle. I mean, like I like need socks.
Yeah.
But I'm like a broke guy who's trying to make it in running, and I just spent $50 on 2 pairs of socks. Like the math doesn't add up here. And also like knowing that these socks didn't cost anywhere near $25 to make. Like right now the socks we make cost $2 and I don't know, 30 cents from the factory.
Yeah.
So anyway, I knew like the discrepancy there, and I was like, well, I've never made a sock before, but I think I could try. So
did that having that knowledge of soft goods when you were creating kites for kiteboarding, which is just such a crazy thing to me. But like having that knowledge, did it pretty much wreck you for life of like every time you make a purchase on something, you're kind of like somewhat doing the math of like, is this worth it? Because I know that this, and this was part of the markup and I might look for another product otherwise. Like, I mean, you're probably using your own products now. I mean, not shoes.
Yeah. But. Yeah. I mean, I think about it a lot, like I think about it a lot,
obviously.
But I don't know, when I buy something, like I just bought a camera lens that was quite expensive. I didn't really think about like, oh, they probably made this for whatever, because, I'm just not going to go down that path. Yeah. And sometimes I just need to buy the thing, but
yeah, exactly.
But if it's something that like, I feel like, oh, I could do that or whatever, I definitely think about it and get distracted a lot on like other ideas of like, oh, I can make that or that, or so
it's cool
constantly
it's constantly you're honoring the kid in yourself. Yeah. So the sock came down to a sock. You never built a sock, but then you did.
I never built a sock before, and so like I didn't have the like I wasn't setting out to build this business of Terignota. I just wanted socks for myself that didn't cost $25 a pop or whatever. And so, I went on Alibaba and like found some suppliers who make socks, and, I got samples from a ton of them and most of them were junk, and started learning about all the different aspects that go into a sock and what needle sizes and everything means. And eventually got a sock that I drew up some socks and eventually got a sock that, I liked a lot and it worked for me. And it was, and like I said, it cost, I couldn't order just one. I had to order, I don't know what first order of socks was, like 500 socks or something, but it cost me like $280 at the beginning. But then I figured.
So then are you spending like going down to the farmer's market with the rest of them? Or
no,
what was that after?
No, so by the before I like actually bulk ordered socks, I already was like, well, if I can make a good sock, like I know what I want in a short, I know what I want in a shirt, like I just should try these also. And so I did like kind of the same process with shorts and shirts and a hat. And when I had like samples after a bunch of rounds of development, when I had samples that I was like really pleased with, I figured out, or like, you know, I penciled out what the minimum order quantities of each of these things would cost me, and built a little website and ordered. So my minimum order was 500 shirts, 500 shirts, 500 shorts. I think I got 400 socks and 100 hats or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I couldn't afford at the time, but I got out some credit cards and put the down payment on some credit cards.
Simply in a trailer.
Yeah. And put the website online, and just for pre-order, like when we first put the website on, it was you could buy the thing then, and I had them, they were being made, but they weren't going to be shipped to you for like 4 months or something.
Okay.
And
so what year was this, or what time was this? This would have been early last year?
So the website went live on November 26th of 2024. So like a year and a year and 4 months ago or something like that. And then I had been working on it for the previous, not actually that long, maybe previous 6 or 9 months. So it was pretty quick from,
I mean, super quick to where you are now, of like essentially being a one-man global brand of like, it's just wild. And like, that's the cool thing about, like, for example, I just got finished breakfast with a few of my friends, and we meet once a month and we talk about like the simple little things of life, and like how that really feeds a good life, not just for them or for me, but like it can affect others, these really simple, like down to earth things. And I view Terignota as something similar, of like really focusing on these simple down to earth things that matter to you and matter to someone else, and organically has grown like way beyond, I'm sure, what you would have expected, right?
Way beyond.
Yeah. And so like at what point, so like, did you start, I know there was, if I'm remembering my history a little bit, like I remember seeing someone, maybe it was one of the conversational pace guys, they were maybe wearing a sample during a race, or like had called you out and you were wearing a sample during a race. I can't remember exactly yet, but I remember like seeing it, going online pretty much right away and seeing who essentially at that time Terignota was, you still, but like just being really impressed at how like product look good, simple, obviously performs well enough that many people are choosing to put it on before it's even really a brand. And then all of a sudden, boom, the trajectory was just like, wow, I can't fulfill orders because you're all sold out, right?
Right.
So how was that on your end? Like that was just me looking on, just as a runner and a guy who likes product.
Yeah, it's interesting to think back on it, because there was never really time to like think about it. Like I just kept doing the thing. Like I got that first batch of product and put them on pre-order, and you know, we would get, I don't know, 1 to 2 orders a day or something, or maybe a few more, but originally, and we had like a little spike when you would get mentioned on podcast or whatever. And then the products came in, and I rented one room in this building that I'm in now, and like had the little table and boxes around. And then they sold out, so I was like, well, I guess I should order more, and I like doubled how much I ordered, and those came in, and it's hard to say this because there's not, like, I haven't had a whole lot of time to reflect on like the crazy amount of growth and like awareness and brand recognition, I guess, that has happened in like just the last 16 months. And going from like, when I first started, I was like, okay, well, I guess if I sell through 500 shorts, I'm going to be like so psyched. Like I can't really imagine doing that. And like, whatever, it'll just be like a fun experiment. And then the experiment just like didn't stop, which, I mean, it still feels like a big experiment.
And here you are.
It still feels like I'm just doing the thing. Like, oh, I want to make this product. Okay, let's figure out how to do that and put it in and put it on the website and see what happens. And like, it just has felt like a big experiment that hasn't stopped. And there hasn't been a whole lot of time to like go back and I don't know, reflect.
Yeah. I mean, you're not only the product guy, you're also like you said, packaging, and you're also like customer service and all of that. So when you hear from people who have had your product, like what are some things that they're raving about, or just like, why are people raving about Terignota? It can't be just the price point, because I could go to Target and, buy a running t-shirt and probably be fine. Like, what are people excited about once they've tried your products?
Yeah, I mean, generally they're excited about like the things that make great running shorts and shirts. Like the shirt specifically, our trail tee, is like, there's not that much that goes into making a t-shirt. Like, honestly, it's like picking a good fabric that's very lightweight, very breathable, and dries quickly. And then there's like 4 panels you stitch together. So like, there's not that much that goes into making a t-shirt. And like, brands can have all these trademarked quote unquote technologies that make it better, but like, it's still just 4 pieces of fabric or whatever stitched together. And so if you pick a good fabric and make a shirt that fits, like, it's going to be a pretty good shirt. And for the shorts, they're like, the shorts are a little bit more design intensive, and like, something that I worked, a bit harder on dialing them in. But yeah, they're just like, the shorts are like what I wanted as a person who runs a lot myself, which I think is like a really key factor.
For sure.
So I wanted to have storage. Like you always take something with you. You always take your phone, and I mean, not always, but you take your phone and gels and
most of the time,
else. Whatever else with you, and having like a place to put them seemed like a good idea. So like the waist belt is a huge factor for me. I would never go back to a pair of shorts that doesn't have like nice storage like that in it. And then just, again, super breathable fabric that's flowy and fits well. And for me,
not too long, not too short. It looks like
not too short. Just like a simple.
What's the inseam for the guys?
5 inches.
5 inch?
5.5 inches.
Perfect.
It, like,
beautiful.
Goes between.
And I'm looking at your website while we're talking. It's been a while since I've looked around on it, and knowing your success already, and like you've sold out of multiple of these products multiple times, and looking at like the true quality shorts that have that kind of function, especially with the integrated waist belt, $29, US bucks. And then the tee as well is $22. And this micro grid fleece, which looks phenomenal, sold out, sadly. Only 34 bucks. I'm wearing like the Melanzana, which is, in a lot of ways fairly similar to your brand, and like really staying close to their pillars and whatnot. Of like, even so, this is like almost $100 for something that's probably a similar material, which is wild. And then I have bought my wife that Abigail West crest cap, and she loves that thing. Would you have that without the flowers on it too for $19? it's just wild. Like for true quality gear, like it's pretty unheard of. Yeah, I have one more question kind of piggybacking off of what you were just saying. Like you hear all the great things about it and you know all the great things about it. What are some known of like, what are some challenges? What are some things that, you know, customers have said that they've wanted more that like, I just by getting to know you a little bit now, I know your head's spinning on those things for future product. Like what's something there?
Yeah. Like the like biggest and most obvious challenge that has, been a constant, although I feel like I'm getting a lot better at it, but has been a constant, like since the beginning, is just like sizing. And I actually don't think that challenge is ever going to go away.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's like so hard to, or maybe just impossible to find a shirt or maybe even more so shorts that like fit every body type and are the right style for everybody. And
exactly.
But there's been more than just like the difficulty of like fitting a shirt to various human bodies. Like for me, I have, at the beginning, I had a lot of issues with like tolerancing and getting consistent sizing across different colors and getting the right quality control checks from the factory to like, just ensure that the size that I ordered and the size specifications that I sent them is actually what I got. And have like had a lot of...
And you're the guy checking all that.
Yeah. And when I mess up, the guy who has to deal with everybody who rightfully so wants an exchange or whatever.
Yep. That's you.
Yeah. And
so
like that has been like the biggest through line challenge. I mean, there's like tons of other challenges that I could list, like
of course.
I don't know, but
because again, you're not only the head of product, you're the head of marketing, you're the head of communications,
right?
Everything. And I mean, one question is, will the grid fleece be back in stock ever?
It has been. It will be back in stock. It is, well,
okay.
China is currently on Chinese New Year, which is a national holiday that they take nearly the whole month of February off. So it like has caused a few delays, and but they're on track to be back in stock around May, which I know is like starting of summer time, warm weather, so maybe a bad time.
But I mean, if you're a true dirtbag trail runner, you need a warm layer.
Yeah, and another note on the fleece is like I'm getting to a point in terms of like volume order that I can start making, like that I can start ordering custom fabrics. And so like we're for the restock of the fleeces, they'll be made with 100% recycled polyester. Well, there'll be some spandex in there too, but there'll be polyester in it, 95% polyester, 5% spandex, whatever. But the polyester in it will be 100% recycled. And so that has been like a cool process to like figure out how to do that. And has caused a few delays as well. But that's like a cool thing that'll be coming out, and we switched manufacturers with them a little bit and added a few details, like a drawstring on the bottom hem and some new colors, which I'm quite excited about.
Sweet.
So it's worth the wait. It's worth the wait.
Of course. And then are there any other releases besides like potential colorways or anything like that you're excited about this spring or summer?
Yeah. So
that you're able to talk about? Maybe you need to talk with HR
I don't have
first.
any embargoes on myself.
Sweet.
They're actually here now. A new kind of next version of the Abigail West crest cap, which is like the flower hat.
Sweet.
But this one's Women of the Wasatch. Hopefully I'll have them on the website next week.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
And it's it's another flower hat.
I don't care. I love the flowers.
This one goes to benefiting women of the Wasatch, which, yeah, excited about. And then I've been working on a half tight for a long, long time now, and
that's what I like to hear. Yes,
nearly there. Aiming to have those released maybe like June, along with the singlet.
Our race day kit is ready.
Yes, like the summer drop race day kit. And then, yeah, those are like the things that are in the hopper right now. They're somewhere near being ready. So,
look forward to that, those listening. I kind of have a couple, maybe it'll end up being one question basically, but I know transparency has been huge for you. Mm-hmm. And that's like, I want to talk about transparency and sustainability kind of, and then we can move forward on what you're really excited about or where you hope Terignota goes from here. So in light of transparency, the idea of sustainability can take many different, it can be, it could be choosing the right materials for sustainability, but there's also many other facets to it. In your mind, what is sustainability for Terignota?
Yeah, sustainability for Terignota like comes in so many different, or there's so many different angles to it. I think like a huge factor that's like kind of obvious for Terignota is simply financial sustainability. Like if there's the most sustainable product in the world is made, but only like 0.001% of people could ever actually afford to buy that product, like does it really have that much impact or benefit to the world? And also if a product, or if helping people like go further or enjoy the outdoors more, or just get them outside in the first place, I think could be seen as maybe not sustainability, but like increased advocacy for the outdoors.
Oh, for sure. And I mean that sustainability, right? Of like, not only you're helping sustain a market, but you're also creating more of a market in that way, but also like personal, mental, emotional sustainability of like, that's how I get my, day-to-day sustainability of like, get me out in the woods and on a run for a while. And like, that makes me a better person.
I just got a note from a customer that they bought our Valhalla vest, and it was their first vest they bought, which, I mean, they could have bought, I don't know. I have no idea if what their financial situation was, or if they could have bought a different vest, but it was just like very cool to see somebody having their like first experience with vests, which usually indicate like going further through Terignota. And
I mean, that's, I mean, for those, that's $89, the Valhalla vest. And it's a true vest scenario, not like there's many brands who kind of say something's a vest, but it's really like essentially a little backpack of like, and for much more of like, usually the market is like between 100 and I mean, upwards of like $210 for some sort of vest. And that's the typical market.
And then going back to like more, I don't know, feasible or more like tangible examples of sustainability. Like we are at a much lower price point than, I don't know, every other brand. But it doesn't mean that we skimp on areas of sustainability. Like our packaging is all recyclable paper packaging. We like pay extra for our poly bags that are made from recycled material. We don't get products shipped to us. This is us, but like, not only do we like send products from us to our customers in recycled material, like the packaging of our products is just like it's wrapped in a piece of paper or it's in a little paper box. But like a big thing is a lot of the times the manufacturers will ship us or brands products like all individually packaged in plastic, and we have worked, it's just like that's just like the standard way to do it. So like not having that, they just like ship them to us in a bulk. There's one giant plastic bag that they ship all the products in instead of like 1,000 little
love it
bags. And just and like we're like with the fleece, we're like experimenting with recycled materials, and as we're like trying to do the little things right, and as volume and bandwidth allows, doing bigger things right as well, while still keeping products at an accessible price point. And
for sure.
Yeah,
that's amazing. And I wanted to press that because, you know, I had that hunch that this isn't just a greenwashing scenario for sure. And kind of as we sign off, I'm curious of like, you've had this, as we've talked about, this trajectory that kind of has blown your mind and is just like so exciting from an onlooker of like, where do you hope, like maybe the next year, we don't need to put a time frame on it, but like, where do you hope Terignota goes and continues to serve? And like, what are your greatest hopes for this baby of yours?
Yeah, it's a bit of a hard question for me because when I started, I didn't have any sort of end goal, or I didn't even really have a goal. I just started. So I've had to like just develop the next goals, and I haven't had time to like look 5 years in the future or whatever. I like look 6 months maximum into the future because that's about all I can take at the moment. But
well,
like,
you're doing pretty good. I'm like looking at tomorrow.
I mean, just with lead times, you kind of have to, but with in the near future, there are like some very exciting things or things I'm very excited about. Like one thing that, I mean, it doesn't make any difference really to the customer, but that I'm personally excited about is we're like moving locations to a much bigger, more like a better suited location for a company that packs and ships a ton of orders every day and has like needs space for prototyping and development, and it's on the ground floor, and it's like in this. Anyway, we're moving locations to a much bigger location, which I'm like really, really excited about taking that step. And like,
are you in Washington currently? Is that where you're
so we're Leavenworth, Washington currently, and we're moving like 15 minutes down the road to Cashmere, Washington.
Cool. Sounds like a perfect product place, Cashmere.
Yes, and that's like personally, just like a dream come true for me is like getting to have like a big, not crazy big, but for me feels very big, like warehouse-esque situation that I can like spread out in and set up systems to grow for the future, and like have a nice permanent area that I can set up our prototyping tools and have my laser cutter out and just like play. And I mean, also do, and like a really nice, anyway, so that's very, very exciting for me personally. And then just like in terms of Terignota, the brand, and what the consumers see, like,
I mean, I can imagine of like for example, my family of 4, we used to live in a 1-bedroom place, and it worked for us because we had all the systems in place to work, you know, a couple of young children and 2 adults in 1 bedroom. But when we moved to a new place where we could have a little more space, and how we've been able to flourish as a family just because of space, I can imagine it's going to be the same for you as a brand too, of like, you have the space in place to grow in ways that you didn't know you either needed to or wanted to. And like that's certainly meaningful.
It just feels like it's going to open up a ton of opportunity and just like
Yeah.
meaningfully increase the quality of, I mean, my own life, but also just like the Terignota's potential and Terignota's work. And then, like one of my personal big goals for Terignota, and just something I'm like really interested in myself, is like developing a shoe. So
that's what I like to hear.
Yeah. So that's like been in the process for a while. I mean, it's nowhere near being ready or being anywhere close to that, but it's like being started, and something that I would love to be able to spend more time on, and it would just like really feels like it would round out the like essential trail running gear. Like we would offer a full palette of trail running gear with a shoe, and like something that it's like very design intensive, which is like what I love to do, and just gets me really excited. So
yeah, exactly. Oh man, that's so excited to hear. And I mean, all the product people of our audience are probably drooling over that idea right now. So when you get samples in, you know who to hit up.
Yeah, will do.
That's awesome. If people want to just learn more about Terignota, find you, where would they be able to go?
Yeah, I mean, our website's just terignota.com, and you can see all the products on there. Our Instagram is also just at Terignota. I haven't been doing a very good job of posting lately, but I trying to do more of that.
You've got a lot of other things on your mind.
Yeah, it's like the more anyway. So Terignota.com Terignota.com and Terignota on Instagram are the best places.
Great.
Yeah.
And if they need to contact you at Terignota, just contact at Terignota, right? And
that's right. Contact at Terignota.com.
Personal questions.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
It'll go straight down. That's awesome. Well, thanks for taking your time out of like, I'm sure, a very busy day when you have all of these responsibilities, and we just appreciate what you're doing and who you are. And thanks for joining us, Alex.
Thanks for having me on.
Give a good stretch, got my laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side. If you wanna tuck run, it's the place to be. Yeah, it's the drop. DRO.